And in episode 6, the entire town is abuzz over Cressida saying that she's Lady Whistledown. And while this should be a relief to Penelope because, well, Cressida just took credit for something that became a big burden on Penelope, it's not a relief at all. In fact, it pisses off Penelope. She starts writing her edition of Whistledown, just disparaging Cressida, saying how she's a liar, but she can't quite find the words to it. Now, she's more insulted about the fact that her bully growing up is taking credit for her creation. But it's not like everybody believes that Cressida is Lady Whistledown. Polin, for one, doesn't believe it. He goes over to the Featherington household that morning to tell Penelope, I know that you've been trying to tell me something, and I just want to let you know, whenever you're ready, no rush. But then he starts asking her, do you really think that Cressida could be Whistledown? I just don't see it. And Penelope, of course, says, no, I don't see it either. But Cressida's own mother doesn't believe it either. Now, her father, he is disgusted by her behavior. He wants to send her away to Scotland to live with one of her aunts. He can't believe that she is the town gossip, but her mother knows her daughter, and her mother knows that her daughter just isn't witty enough and observant enough to be Lady Whistledown. As her mother is telling her all of this, the queen's men come to gather up Cressida and bring her to the castle. The queen wants to talk to her. When Cressida does get in front of the queen asks why exactly she decided to turn herself in. I mean, for $5,000, you would think that she was making way more than that just selling the pamphlet herself. And Cressida, thinking quickly on her feet, says, well, I didn't want someone else getting paid over my name, so I'll take that reward money. But the queen isn't about to just hand it over to Cressida. She wants proof. She wants to read the latest edition of Whistledown before it goes out, which means that Cressida is going to have to write a Whistledown issue herself, which, quite frankly, she's not capable of. As Cressida and her mother are leaving the castle, they know they have to figure out something, because Cressida's options are come up with a Whistledown issue, get the $5,000, and be able to live on her own, or get cast out of society, move to Scotland, and be a spinster. Neither are great right now. Now over at the Bridgerton household, Colin at this point has returned, and there's big news. Francesca announces that her and Lord Kilmartin will be getting married. But with this announcement, it gets Eloise just thinking about her brother's upcoming wedding. And now her brother still doesn't know the truth. So later in the day, she goes and has a conversation with her brother because she knows her brother went to talk to Penelope earlier in the day, and she wants to poke around and see if Penelope did tell Colin about the whole Whistledown thing. But it becomes apparent that no, she did not tell Colin the truth. And Colin asks Eloise, did you know about Cressida being Whistledown? Eloise shakes her head and says, no, I didn't. I mean, the friendship was already souring, but this was the last straw. Eloise does tell her brother, I will go talk to the author, and I will see if maybe I can put an end to Lady Whistledown. She never once says Cressida because she doesn't want to lie to her brother, and later in the day, she goes and has a conversation with Penelope, who ironically is trying to edit her unsuccessful Whistledown pamphlet. She thinks that Penelope is crazy for not giving up Whistledown. I mean, this is her golden opportunity to get out of this lie. She implores Penelope to just be the bigger person, get over the fact that it was Cressida who took the fall, and just accept it. Retire Whistledown. Go live your life with Colin. Be happy. The two go back and forth on the topic, but once Eloise does leave, Penelope realizes that Eloise is right. She really should retire Whistledown's name. Later that night, as Penelope is sitting there with all of her Whistledown pamphlets, her mother comes into the room and gives her probably the worst time pep talk of all time about how she needs to give up on her dreams because she's marrying Colin, a man of stature and sophistication. And now her dreams are Colin's dreams. Because the way that Lady Featherington sees it, women are merely servants, and that is it. They are there to have babies and look good. Nothing more. They're not a mind at all. And that certainly isn't really appealing to Penelope, and it's one of the reasons why she created Whistledown. And to hear that from her mother and know she has to give up Whistledown in the same day, it's tough. And as for Colin, he spent the night at Mondrich's club, although unfortunately that club is closing. Alice got to Mondrich and convinced him that men of society do not work anymore, so it'll be the final hurrah. You've got Colin, you've got Benedict, and you've got Will along with Lord Kilmartin, and they just drink it up. Lord Kilmartin and Francesca do have a slight issue, though. They haven't announced that they're going to get married. And they want to address it with the queen first because they know that Lord Kilmartin wasn't her preferred choice. They kind of need her blessing. It's something that's got Violet Bridgerton a little nervous, especially when Francesca asks Violet, hey, can you go talk to the queen for us? That's something that Violet is terrified to do. And the next day when everybody's at the church and the betrothals are announced, you don't hear Lord Kilmartin or Francesca because of this. A couple that you do hear, though, is Penelope and Colin. And after the ceremony, Colin asks Penelope, hey, what was it, though, that you did want to tell me? And Penelope doesn't tell him anything about Whistledown. She just tells him that she has loved him since the moment she saw him. Outside of the church, though, as everybody's mingling, Eloise sees Cressida Cowper wearing basically camouflage. No, in all seriousness, she's trying to hide from society, but she's wearing Barbie pink. Stevie Wonder could spot her, and Eloise does. She walks over to Cressida to see what the hell she's doing, and Cressida has come because she needs Eloise's help in writing a Whistledown letter. She's already told Eloise about this marriage she doesn't want to be a part of, her plan to get the $5,000 bounty. And now, it looking more and more bleak, she just needs help. But even though Eloise knows that Cressida is not Lady Whistledown, she pretends as if Cressida is, and she refuses to help her out. While this is going on across the square, Lady Danbury is having a conversation with Violet about this whole going to the Queen and telling the Queen about the marriage between Francesca and Lord Kilmartin. It's true that Violet is nervous about asking the Queen, but she gets more nervous when Lady Danbury tells her that if the Queen even sniffs the fact that Violet isn't fully convinced this marriage will work, the Queen isn't going to give her blessing, which makes Violet not want to go up to the Queen even more. And the hesitancy is something that Francesca can see. She sees the difference in the way her mother acts when Colin and Penelope come over, as opposed to her and Lord Kilmartin. But for the moment, she's just kind of shutting up about it. Later in the week, it's Penelope's turn to finally go to the modiste for a dress. The modiste, being one of the few people that knows who Whistledown actually is, asks Penelope if she's told Colin about the Whistledown fact, but Penelope says, no, I'm actually going to let Cressida take credit for it. I'm retiring. You can tell that the modiste thinks that this might be a mistake. And as for Cressida, life is not going great right now. Her father's even more pissed off because he's gotten exiled from a couple of the clubs, and she's having a problem writing any kind of Whistledown-esque letter. It's been days since her and her mother have visited the Queen, and she's gotten no more than a couple of sentences. Her mother tells her, we got to publish something before the real Whistledown actually does publish a pamphlet, and then we're screwed. So the two get to work, and they start writing a Whistledown pamphlet, although it's not really a pamphlet, it's just more of a statement saying that her next issue will be coming out soon. That's really it. She's planning on debuting this at the next ball, which is actually going to be hosted by the Mondriches. It's the first time they are hosting a ball. But one person that won't be attending this is Benedict. He got invited to a dinner party by Lady Arnold along with her friend Paul. Although this dinner party gets spicy. Yeah, like we're talking, it's a threesome. Although no one told Benedict that. And while Benedict's been through orgies before, for whatever reason, when he gets invited to participate in this threesome, he runs away. Very surprising stuff. No word on if Paul laid the wood that night. You'd assume so, though. The rest of the Bridgertons, though, they're at the Mondrich's house for this ball. And as everybody dances around, Francesca asks her mother to go talk to the Queen before the Queen leaves, but once again, Violet just makes an excuse. Francesca, though, continues to push. Violet continues to push back, and the conversation comes to a head when Violet says, I'm not trying to ruin things for you. And Francesca says, why would you ruin things? I mean, do you not think that me and Lord Kilmartin's relationship would make the Queen happy? Francesca calls her mom on her bullshit and says, you haven't supported me with this marriage. You don't believe in it. Lady Bridgerton starts saying, look, Lord Kilmartin is wonderful, but... And Francesca cuts her off and says, but what? I love the guy. Violet is so upset at herself that she starts to leave the ball. She can't believe she's acting like this about a love match. And Marcus, who's been kind of courting her this entire season, chases after her, but he gets stopped by Lady Danbury. And those two finally get into it. He can't figure out why Lady Danbury hates him so much, what he did, and she tells him that what he did was get in the way of her dreams. Because right before she was married off to that old guy, she nearly escaped to freedom, but she was caught. And when she was brought back, she overheard her father thanking Marcus. So she feels like Marcus betrayed her. And you can see in Marcus's face that he does remember the moment, but he didn't realize the impact of whatever it is he told his father at that time. He tries to explain himself, but Lady Danbury ain't having any of it. She storms off. As those two exit, the drama arrives. Cressida and her mother show up, and they make quite an entrance. When they finally do get in front of the queen, they have a bunch of people bring in the Whistledown pamphlets, and it looks as if Cressida is, in fact, Whistledown. The queen, though, isn't convinced. She wants to see the next issue. And when she sees it, then she'll discuss the actual reward money with Cressida. When Penelope sees this fake pamphlet, she loses it. She gets so pissed off. Even though she accepted the fact that she should no longer be Lady Whistledown, she can't let this one slide. But she's not the only one who's upset, so is Eloise. She feels like Cressida is going to come after her because she ended their friendship. And now Cressida has a little bit of power, the entire town thinking she is Whistledown. She can, indeed, print a pamphlet. Penelope sits down with her and says, "I will fix this because I'm going to publish again." So she runs out of there, grabbing a carriage, and on the way to the printer, she writes the latest edition of Whistledown. She drops it off, she gets a rush order, but as she's walking back to the carriage, she's caught by Colin. And he is shocked, but also mad as hell that she is Lady Whistledown. Thank you so much for checking out this recap. Please consider subscribing to the channel and subscribing to my Patreon. Hit thumbs up if you liked it. Smash that thumbs down button if you thought it sucked. If you left a comment, I don't get back to you. I usually don't check the comments unless they're like a super comment. Also, if you don't see the next video up on the end screen, not to worry. It'll be up in a day or two.